Hi, can you hear me? Good. Welcome to Heaven Intake. I am your Heaven Intake angel. You're dead, and your life scores weren't high enough for you to immediately enter heaven, nor low enough for you to immediately enter hell. But they did qualify you to come to this administrative building here where I can judge you. Now, I am an angel, but the presence that you see right now, I've assumed the identity of someone that you have met in your previous life. Do you recognize me? Do you recognize these surroundings? Well, that's okay. Perhaps it'll come to you later in our interview. I should tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in this department since heaven opened its doors to earthlings many millennium ago. I used to be in development where I worked on planet creations. I worked on the creation of Jupiter, which was pretty fun, but those guys were crazy. They swung that planet all over the solar system. I had to get off that team. That's when I joined the Earth team. And that's why I fell in love with humans. Yeah, I helped create Earth. God created Earth, but I came up with some good ideas. Mountains, marsupials, nipples, the human face. That's right. The original prototype had 3 eyes and 1 mouth. You would hear through your skin and you would smell through your lips. And that's fine and all, except for they had come up with this great human body self-regulation system. I said, hey guys, once that body starts fighting off infection, you're going to want more face holes. So they came up with ears and a nose with not 1 but 2 nostrils. You're welcome. Yeah, they got rid of the 3rd eye for symmetry and they put a face bumper there instead. I think you guys call them foreheads. But that's not important. That's ancient history. When I say ancient, I mean ancient. We're here today to talk about you, Christopher, and your life. Your life, which ended tragically in a drug overdose. Now, that drug overdose will not keep you from entering the kingdom of heaven because there's no vice laws in heaven. I mean, it's heaven. You're supposed to enjoy yourself. That's why I should also let you know right now, the fact that you are gay will not keep you from entering heaven. I don't know where earthlings came up with this idea that being gay is wrong. We created your sexuality here in heaven. That's right. We wanted you to be gay, and we wanted you to sleep with all those guys you slept with, and you slept with a lot. I mean, these are really high numbers. Nonetheless, that's not going to keep you from entering heaven, nor is the fact that you were so charitable while you were on earth. I mean, you gave to AIDS rides, you gave to AIDS walks. I mean, you threw so much money at drag queens for AIDS events that it's just ridiculous. You're a good person at heart. The problem that we have, well, here's an example. There was a woman that you worked with. Her name was Ebony. Ebony was a receptionist. You loved Ebony. Remember her? Yeah, you always wanted to touch her hair. And you always wanted to talk Banji to her. Hey girl, how you doing? Remember the dialect you would do when you were around her? And she asked you to stop. And then you tried to touch her hair again. And she said, look, I want to slap you, but instead I'm going to go to HR. She did go to HR, but not before you did, and told them that she had threatened to slap you. And then you badmouthed her all around the office where she felt it was not a comfortable place to work, and she quit before HR finished investigating her claim. I also want to talk to you about a friend of yours that you had named John. John was a gentleman of color who dated your friend Craig for 3 or 4 months. You used to call John Captain Chocolate Bar. And John didn't like it, especially since he was the only black person amongst your all-white friend group. When he pointed out to you that it made him feel picked on and pointed out, you got mad and started inviting Craig out without John. And eventually they stopped spending a lot of time together and they broke up. Also, John didn't want to hang around Craig's friends anymore, which put a real damper on that relationship. There's one more example I want to talk to you about. It happened in 2018 at Pride, where you saw a redhead that you were really in love with. Well, at least lusting after, and you went straight to the bar to talk to him. Now, while he was at the bar, he had a gentleman standing beside him who was ordering a drink. And you kept pushing that gentleman because he was in the way of you and the redhead. When finally the gentleman turned and said, could you stop pushing me, please? You turned to the gentleman and said, well, then why don't you make some rooms? We're not at a Black Lives Matter rally. And if you don't like it, why don't you get out of here and go to one of your own bars on Crenshaw? The gentleman called you a racist and he left the bar. The redhead also called you a racist. And you spent the next 10 minutes arguing with him how you couldn't be a racist because you had a friend Ebony and a friend John and so many other reasons why you couldn't be racist. Well, I have news for you today, dear friend. You are a racist. Oh, you're recognizing me now and the surroundings. That's right, I'm the gentleman from the bar. That's how I've come to you today. And you've been to his apartment because you hooked up with him on Grindr one late night. Ah, the light goes on. Then you must also realize that there is no heaven intake. There's only heaven and there's only hell. And guess what, brother? You in hell. That's right. You're in hell. And for the next 1,000 years, I, your personal demon, am going to torment you and remind you of every microaggression you've ever done against any person of color. I'm going to start with black people. And then maybe 200 years from now, I'm going to change myself into the Latinx barista you used to be so rude to at the Starbucks. Welcome to hell, racist!